I'm Tiffany Kellogg, trainer with Incentive, and today I want to explore the 10 shades of a referral. This conversation is straight out of the Ignite Your Business program that we offer through Incentive, and I just wanted to give us an overview of those 10 shades. And we're going to start at the bottom with a shade number 1, which is I pass on a name and number. So an example of this, perhaps I'm driving down the street and I see coming soon restaurant and the name and the phone number. Perhaps there's someone in my network that's looking for restaurants, so I jot down the name and number and I pass that information along. Now sometimes people will call this a lead. It's the lowest shade of a referral, and here's the thing, sometimes people get like, ooh, isn't that like not really great? I think when it comes to the shades of referral, it's going to be totally up to the person that's receiving the referral on what shade they're willing to give. But that's a shade 1. Shade 2, this is where I'm going to pass out your information on your behalf. So I'm giving out your business cards, I'm passing out your brochures. This may not always result in business right away, however, I'm at least passing your information on. Then we have a shade 3. And this is where I authorize the use of my name. So, hey, why don't you stop in Susie's office? Tell her Tiffany told you to stop by. This could help get you past the gatekeeper, or it could get you stopped by the gatekeeper, depending on my relationships with Susie. But at least I'm authorizing the use of my name here. Then we move to a shade 4. Shade 4 is where, and it's noteworthy here, I'm actually willing to send a letter talking about you, recommending you, saying great things about you. So it's noteworthy that I'm willing to know great things about you. And this could be done via letter or email, though I think there's much more power in something that people get in the mail than just on the computer. Which leads us to shade 5, because that's what's next. So the shade 5, this is where I send a letter and a follow-up phone call. So I sent out the letter to the person, and then I call and just say, did you get the letter? Any questions? Now, here's a big break, because when we move to shade 6, there's something crucial that happens here. Shade 6 is where I actually talk to the prospect and qualify a need. So I think there's a huge jump here, because this is the first shade of a referral where I've qualified the need for the person. I've seen that there's a need for your a need for your product or service, and I get permission for you to communicate with them. So that's a shade 6. Then we move to 7. Shade 7, I actually set up the appointment on your behalf. I think a shade 7 is powerful because while some people will say, yeah, have them call me on a shade 6, a shade 7, we're actually putting in our calendar, here's where we're going to meet. Now, sometimes on the shade 7, people are like, well, I can't have other people just scheduling appointments for me. I already have stuff going on in my calendar. It would be, if I was going to be referring you, I would be in communication with you, scheduling the meeting for the prospect. I wouldn't just put it on your calendar and say, I hope you can be there. But speaking of putting it on your calendar, shade 8, it gets better. Every time we get higher, it gets better, it gets better. So a shade 8, this is where we actually get together and I create the face-to-face introduction on your behalf. So it brings the prospect, you, and myself there together. And I like this because it definitely makes it a more comfortable situation for all parties, because the person that knows both people's there. Also, it's powerful because I can almost act as a translator between the two. I know the product or service that you offer. I know the prospect and what they have going on, and so I can help facilitate or translate the conversation. Now, as we move to shade 9, what you'll find is very few people will actually pass you a shade 9 referral, because it does necessitate a high level of knowledge on your product or service. And a shade 9 is where you describe the product and service so well that you're even able to recommend what they need. Again, your contact sphere relationships, those non-competing industries, same target market, those people may be able to create shade 9s, but that's probably it. But then we get to move to shade 10, and yes, finally, shade 10 is where it's at. You bring your referral partner a closed deal. Pretty cool, right? Now, do know that this varies from industry to industry what a closed deal would look like. For some of you, we could actually gather their credit card information or a check and bring that to you. For others, perhaps we can get the signed contract. And there are some it would be more of, okay, it's all over but the signing of the paperwork. We're getting together, we're doing business, we just have to figure out what that looks like. And so if we think about it, we've got 10 shades of a referral. And here's the thing, the higher the shade of the referral, the more likely you are to close, the better the client will probably be. The lower shade of a referral means more work that you're going to have to put in, though it's a referral. And so one of the things that you might want to consider is what's the lowest shade of referral that you're willing to take? Where's going to be that kind of sweet spot for you? But now as the referrals go up, the closing percentage goes up, and it's just easier for us to do. So those are our 10 shades of a referral from the Ignite Your Business program. Thank you so much for being here today.